Today we are looking at OneSignal, and this is a step-by-step guide where we'll walk through the entire platform. We are going to go from creating your account and choosing your channel to configuring beautiful opt-in prompts, building hyper-targeted audience segments, and launching both manual as well as automated campaigns. Whether you have a WordPress site, a custom Next.js web app, or an Android application, this is the blueprint you need to master user retention. So let's get started. Head over to OneSignal and create a new account by clicking on this button right here. You can either use your email address and a password or sign in directly using your Google account, which is what I'm gonna do. Now, this is the onboarding setup where you'll have to enter in details about yourself, starting with your full name, the company's name, the application name for which you are using the services. So, we'll start off by filling in these three details and then we'll talk about the rest later. So we have got these details. Now we need to select the role that we are creating this account with. So I'm just gonna use the marketing and growth section because that's where we'll have to manage our campaign. Click on continue, and now you have to give more details about your company or the business that you are creating the account for. So I'm gonna create it for a media and entertainment company. The size is 11 to 50 employees, and then the website you can add in the URL, but as you can see it's not really required, so you can skip that as well. Now this is the most important part. In the channels of communication, make sure you tick the push notification option. Other than that, if you are trying to use it to deliver email as well, then you can choose any of these options as well. Now click on continue, and this step is important if you are a developer or you are the one managing the entire application. This is the steps for including the services into your code base. So you'll have to add an SDK. If you're using a website, you'll have to configure it into the website. This is the GitHub repo, so you can go right ahead, copy this after selecting a platform, and then you have to import the library accordingly. In case you're just here for the marketing, you can skip this step right ahead like what I did. Now let's talk about the pricing. We have got annual plan, and there's this free plan which gives us 10,000 free email send, unlimited push notification sends, MCP, basic marketing capabilities, etc. So you can check out all the different plans and choose one appropriately. If you are just starting out trying this application, I would recommend you to stick to the free plan. It has more than enough settings as well as credit to get through your trial phase. And if you're just trying to use this for push notification, then the free access has unlimited mobile push notifications. So click on this continue with free plan, and now let's get started. Right in your dashboard, it will give you the option to get started with one of the messaging channels. So we are going to choose the push notification channel, and now when you click on the push notification settings, here's what it will take you. Click on web push notification. You can use other notification option as well if you're trying to use it for a different type of service. Like if you're trying to use it with an Android application, then you'll have to use the Google Android FCM. If it's for iOS, then use this one, so on and so forth. And this process would be similar to what I'm doing right now. So click on continue. Up next, you need to choose the integration for the type of website that you are using or the configuration that you are making. So we are just going to use the typical site option, and then you need to type in your site name, the site's URL. So for site URL, I'm just going to use one of the project that I have deployed on Netlify, and this is the site for that. Also, one of a good thing that this website has is whenever you hover over any of the form settings, it shows up a description of the exact setting and what it means right next to it, so you can read it out if you don't understand what exactly do you have to add into the particular field. Next up, you've got the default notification URL for the picture that will appear. So just select an image, Now that our site details are logged in, scroll down to the permission prompt configuration. This is where most people completely ruin their push strategy. By default, you can let the native browser prompt handle everything. The browser drops an unbranded aggressive block at the top of the screen the exact second the page loads. And the users have this thing called banner blindness. They will click block instantly. And if they block you at the browser level, you can never ask them again unless they manually go into their browser setting to fix it. So instead, click on this add prompt and choose push prompt. And here you can see the native prompt style, which is this, and this is what I'm talking about. This is what never gives you user retention, but instead what we are going to use is the push slide notification that has already been added in here. So if you click on push size prompt editor, you'll see this is what we'll get. This will create a beautiful pre-permission overlay before the browser asks for permission. You can even customize your prompt text by clicking on this button right here and then swapping this text out for whatever you're trying to display. So check this out. This is my custom slide prompt text, and here is the setting to actually show the prompt. By default, it's after one page view and at 10 seconds delay. What I'm gonna do is add a 20 seconds delay, and that's it. Once you're done with these permission and editing, you can change the preview state from desktop to mobile subscribe like this, and you can see both previews side by side. Once you are done and satisfied with everything, click on this done button right here and you're all set. Your permission prompt won't be blocked by your users because it's now more creative and doesn't give the box default vibes. Up next, we have even got our welcome notification option, which might look like this. Again, you can customize the text by adding the title as well as the message over here. So this is the customized message, and here's what it will look like in your Windows. Once that's done, all you need to do is click on the save button, and now you need to just make sure that your OneSignal is coded into your site. So you need to copy this code and add it into your code base. So as you can see, I've added the code into my code base, and now I'm going to deploy it on my Netlify and then we can test it out. Okay, so check this out. I uploaded the new code, and after 20 seconds of scrolling through the website, I got this notification right here. So if I allow it, then it would let our website show notifications. Now that we have tested out our push notification settings, this gives us an insight on the audience, which we can check out in the audience tab in the sidebar. Click on audience and then segment. So here's the thing. Once users start hitting your site or app and clicking allow, they will begin populating your audience tab. But remember, broadcasting the exact same message to entire subscriber list is the fastest way to get uninstalled. You need relevance, which means you need segmentation. OneSignal allows you to filter user based on automated engagement data and custom metadata. For example, we have got 3 to 4 different audience sections right here. This is the first time audience, meaning the audience that has joined in the past 3 hours. Then there's the active audience, which are recently been visiting your website or application. Then there's the regional audience, which is from a specific area or specific geological location. And you can even create a custom audience based, a custom audience filter to push out your campaign and notifications too. So I'm just simply going to use the first time audience segmentation, and here you can customize it. You can change the name of the segment, then you can filter out how much time do you consider as the first time audience. Like you need the first session to be less than 3 hours ago. This is the default, but if you want, you can do 5 hours or 10 minutes a day or anything you'd like. Once you click on create segmentation, it will keep a record of all the audience that has been having their first session on your website for the first time less than 5 hours ago. So you can keep track of the number of audience that have been agreeing to your settings, that has actively subscribed, etc. Now that your audience is segmented, that means you are ready to deploy a campaign. So click on messages and choose push notification and then click on new push, where you can either create a blank push notification or even use one of the pre-built one. So I'm just going to use the rating one, select this right here, and then here you need to give a name for your campaign. So I'm just going to call it user feedback, and you can add in labels for it. Also, if you have created labels, then here is the part where you need to select your audience. So you can either use the default total subscribers or you can use a particular segment. Like right now it's total subscriber, but switch it to first session, and then you can select. Now click on include segments and choose the first time audience. Now once you have selected the audience, you need to customize your message that will be sent. So this is what the template looks like, and I think I'm just going to go with it because it looks pretty good to me. There's the title, the message. Maybe I can change the message, but it's looking really nice right now, which is the whole point of using a template. You don't need to go ahead design everything from scratch. Next up, you can deliver this on a schedule, like a specific time. You should think of your audience, what time will they be active, and then choose that time accordingly. Like let's say if my audience is going to be active around 6, I'll just choose a date and then the time would be 6 p.m., which is how I'll get the attention of my audience. Once you've done that, and once you have scheduled the text push notification, you can go right ahead, click on this review and schedule, take a look at exactly what's going to happen, what is the audience, the message, the schedule, make sure the time is proper, and then you can go right ahead, schedule the message. Now it's that simple. So as soon as your campaign or journey goes live, you'll see a user feedback option. This is where you track how well it's performing. OneSignal breaks your data down into highly actionable metrics. It will give you all the information starting from how many messages have been delivered. If it's lower than your audience size, then it means the devices are offline or the push tokens have expired. Then there's the CTR, which is the click through rate. If your CTR is under 2%, it means your headlines are too generic or your segmentations is too broad. To optimize this, you can always go back into the composer, use their built-in A/B testing feature, and pit two different headlines against each other to let data decide which resonates best with your crowd. Then there will be some different charts like audience activity, message settings, which of the buttons were clicked, and stuff like that. So you can get a full idea of your user feedback from their activity on your message. Lastly, you have got the dashboard, which shows all the different charts and matrices regarding your audience as well as the engagement. And that's how you build a powerful, high converting push notification engine from scratch using OneSignal. If this helped you out, do drop a comment and I'll see you in the next one.